4 years ago, brand new homes of this size in my area sold for $400,000, but now these are going for $600,000 and $700,000. Here's another one, same scenario. 4 years ago, these were about $275,000 brand new, and now they're starting at $450,000. And don't even get me started on rent prices, which now average between $2,000 and $2,500 for a 2-bedroom. This is pretty much the story throughout most of the country, but unfortunately, it doesn't stop with housing, and everything has become more expensive, which of course can make it very difficult for some people to live below or within their means. This concept is a golden rule of finance because it's only by spending less than you earn that you're able to take control of your money instead of having your money control you. But let's be honest, nowadays for the average Joe, being able to actually do this is a privilege because in some areas, average incomes are simply not keeping up with rising costs. And while it's true that there are different ways to deal with this, such as by increasing your income, that takes time, especially if you first have to acquire new skills. So if you're watching this and you feel as if living below your means or living within your means is not an option, hopefully some of these tips can give you a little breathing room. The first thing is to try and cut all of your expenses by an additional 10%. Granted, you've likely already taken steps to be more frugal, which might include not eating out, only buying what you need, and maybe sacrificing vacations. But even though I know that you've already done this to some degree, I challenge you to take it a step further and see if you can trim an additional 10% off of all of your expenses. And not just for non-essentials. When it comes to saving money, some people tend to only focus on reducing their extra spending. And don't get me wrong, that is a huge part of saving money. But along with that, also try and trim some of your priority expenses, and we'll talk a little on how you can make that happen. Now, for some of you, reducing expenses by another 10% might be a stretch, and that's okay. I only ask that you at least try to make it work, but if you can't, maybe you can do 5%. So to start, create a list of every expense you have and their amounts, and make sure that your numbers are as accurate as possible. If you're currently spending $1,800 a month on rent, maybe you can reduce this by 10% and save $180. The same applies for electricity, insurance, food, and so forth. Now, a 10% reduction in your everyday expenses might seem minor, but as you can see, this can translate into hundreds of dollars every month, which can significantly impact your ability to live within your means. And one thing you can do to help reduce your housing by 10% is to negotiate your rent. Negotiating your rent can be a powerful strategy to help you live within your means, whether you're dealing with a private landlord or apartment managers. And a lot of people don't know about this, but it's a tip that I often see suggested. So I spoke with a couple of leasing agents to see if this was a real thing and if people are actually able to do this. And as it turns out, it is real, but only under certain circumstances. So in other words, there are a few factors that will determine whether you're actually able to negotiate. And some of the factors that leasing agents and landlords take into consideration include the length of tenancy. So the longer you've been living in the rental, the better your chances of getting a lower rate. Also, your payment record makes a difference. So if you frequently pay late and they have to hunt you down for the rent, you'll likely lose some of your negotiating power. Keep in mind too that you might need to offer something in return, which often includes agreeing to a longer lease term. You should also negotiate during your renewal because many companies aren't likely to reduce your rate mid-lease. And finally, be reasonable, and this advice is coming from me because realistically, you might only be able to knock $100 to $200 off your rent a month. Budget billing is another tool for living within your means because it can help you avoid sudden spikes in your electric or gas bills. And if you're not familiar with this, it allows you to pay a fixed, predictable amount for your utilities each month, typically based on your average usage over the previous year, which of course is different from traditional billing where your bills can change from month to month. And one key advantage of this is financial predictability and being able to more accurately plan and budget for your utilities, which can be a game changer, especially if your budget is tight and there isn't a lot of wiggle room to accommodate increases. In some cases, budget billing might even create a surplus in your utility account, which you can apply to future bills or use as savings. Freebies Alert, or any Freebies app for that matter, can also be a valuable resource when you're on a tight budget because you're able to get what you need while living within your means. The reality is, every day there are people giving stuff away, And they're not all going to donation centers. When some people are ready to get rid of an item, they want it gone. And if you can haul it, or if you're willing to come and get it, they might let it go free of charge. So if you need furniture for your house, electronics, toys, or even food, using an app that has a free section can help you keep a lot of cash in your pocket. Not too long ago, I learned about Freebies Alert, which is an app that sends a notification when people in your community or neighborhood give away items. My husband recently came home with a bag of unopened canned and boxed food that one of his employees shared with him. She got a bunch of food from somebody who was moving out of state. Since the items were still edible, they didn't want to just throw them in the trash, so instead they listed them on the app. Additionally, make bartering and borrowing a new habit. And this is something that I definitely think that we should start normalizing, especially for those items that we need, but we also won't use as often. Bartering involves exchanging goods or services with others without using money, which can be a great tool to cut costs and get what you need. And to do this, you first need to think about the people that you know and their skills, as well as your skills and what you can offer. Let's say you're a graphic designer in need of some minor home improvement work, but you don't have the skills to do it yourself. However, if you do know someone who has the expertise to complete the project, you might propose a barter agreement where you offer to create a professional website or marketing material for their business, and in exchange, they work on your house. And if they agree, you can then discuss the scope of work, timelines, and other terms. So you're able to leverage your skills to obtain a service that you need without spending money. Keep in mind though that when it comes to bartering, you will probably have to look outside of your inner circle and even use websites or certain apps to find these opportunities. So make sure that you carefully vet these people, look for reviews, ask for references, and make sure you get the agreement in writing. In addition, try and get cash back on most purchases. If you're not using a cashback app, you are potentially leaving a lot of money on the table. These apps partner with retailers both online and in store, and they reward you for things you were already going to buy by giving you a percentage of your spending back. Start by downloading a few cashback apps. And as a side note, some apps give a sign-up bonus, which is an immediate boost to your savings. Next, you'll connect your credit card or debit card, which is how the app tracks your purchases and rewards you accordingly. Then you'll browse offers to find cashback deals from various retailers. And after making a qualifying purchase, the app credits your account. A few examples of popular cashback apps include Rakuten, Ibotta, and Honey. Using these apps on a regular basis, along with smart budgeting, can help you live below or within your means while still enjoying some of the things you love.